Good evening to everybody. My name is Sophia Martin. I'm the pastor of Empowered to Win Ministry Canada, located at 255 Rutherford Road South, Unit 107. With me this evening is my assistant pastor and a friend for many years. Her name is
Terry Robinson, and I am the assistant pastor here at Empowered to Win Ministries. And as Pastor said, we're located at 255 Road, Unit 107 in Brampton, Ontario.
So, Pastor Sophie, could you tell your background where you grew up before you come to Canada?
Okay, so I am the first child from my mom and my dad. A total of 9 children, and I am the eldest. I was born in Whitfield Town in Jamaica, grew up in the inner city called Rosetown. I grew up there as a young girl, playing around and doing all the things that a young child does. Life for me was very challenging. My mom, Constance Richards, and my dad, Earl Martin. It was very hard for us. My mom struggled with us raising all of us by herself, basically, sending us to school. It was very hard, and I remember the days growing up. Going to town, I attended Greenwich Primary School in Kingston 13. I remember the days not having anything to eat and going to our bed without food. I remember walking in the sun back and forth at least 3 times a day with my white patent shoe. Um, it was so hard. I remember many days going to bed without food, and if we did have food, it was sugar and water and bread, or turned cornmeal, or oats porridge. I never liked oats porridge, and so it used to make me sick, but that's what we had. Or bread and butter, or sugar and water and butter for the most part of it. So it was very hard growing up. At some point in time, my dad took me from my mom. So I was living in Spanish Town with my dad, where I grew up. Spent the rest of my younger years with my dad and my stepmother, who is now deceased. There's so much to me. I had to send myself back to school to get education. I went to commercial college. I went to Jamaica Open Bible Institute. I went to Jamaica Theological Seminary. And I also went to Shiloh Theological Seminary as well, where I obtained a PhD. So that's basically in a nutshell, if I want to say. I'm an author. I'm an author of 3 books. So all these things took place when I migrated to Canada. I've been here a little over 20 years. And here I am, answering the call of God on my life, pastoring this great ministry with a beautiful set of people we call Empowered to Win, where we say we are in it to win it.
So, what was the transition like coming to Canada? What was the difference in Jamaica and into Canada?
Oh, that's a very good question. Thank you for asking. The transition was very challenging, I will say. Coming to Canada, how did I get here? I remember back home, I attended Lighthouse Assembly Church of God, pastored by the now Apostle Bishop Rowan Edwards at Garberley Drive in Spanish Town. I remember the early days of really praying and seeking the face of the Lord, and one morning in prayer, the Lord spoke to my heart. I heard the words clearly, I will open a door for you in Canada, and whatever door I open, no man can shut it. And so Bishop Baptiste that lives in Canada, he is now the bishop of over 40 years for Redemption Worship Center in Toronto. He and his wife sent for me Reverend Cephalin Baptiste and Bishop Clinton Baptiste. So they sent me an invite to come to Canada. I came to Canada, I spoke at their ladies' conference, and they loved me, I guess. I went back home, and then they sent for me another year. That was when we had the 9/11, the bombing of the Twin Tower in the States. I came back again and I preached, and I was offered the opportunity to stay in Canada. We submitted our papers submitted our papers to get residency in Canada, it was denied, and I had no idea that it was denied. And I remember sending an invite for my daughter. I'm the mother of one child, grandmother of two. And I remember sending an invitation letter from my daughter to visit Canada. And upon her arrival, I went to the airport to meet her, and I was interrogated by a border security officer who told me that I was not a landed resident in Canada and I should go home. And I said to her, no. I said, I'm waiting on my response. I'm waiting on a response from Immigration Canada. And she said, no. I said, yes. And then she said, okay, I should go back downstairs to receive my daughter. And I was there waiting on my daughter. My daughter did not come. They held on to my daughter, and so I had to leave her in the hands of border security.
So you have a back to school program going on.
Yes, and let me tell you one of the reasons why it's so much on my heart to do these things. Growing up back home, like I said, life was very challenging.
tough.
It was very tough, right, Pastor Terry?
Yes,
It was
very
very
tough.
hard. We both grew up in the inner city. She's from
Franklin Town, otherwise known as Dunkirk. So we do understand what growing up in the inner city is all about. Life was tough, but guess what? We made it. So we understand what it is to be hungry, to be without. So as a result, coming here, migrating to Canada, we understand when folks are without, when they don't have, what it takes to go back to school, what it is to be hungry. So we decided, the ones that are less fortunate, that don't have, that are without, we decided, hey, we're going to extend a helping hand to those because we understand what it is to be on that other side.
Yes. And so as a result of that, the Lord had laid it on my heart to give back to the community back home. And so we just came back from Jamaica about 2 months ago. We donated 100 school bags and school supplies to Eltham Park Primary School that is in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. We also have a Canadian leg, and this is our 4th year giving back to the community as well. So far, we have 150 school bags with school supplies that we will be donating to the less fortunate in the community, giving them back something. As Pastor Terry said, we know what it is to not have.
Absolutely.
And so we're doing that.
So what is the result like when you give children and parents back to school program? What are the feelings like to them?
Oh, excited.
Oh my, it is like heaven on earth. It is like you give them a sense of belonging, a sense of hope all over again. Imagine not having anything, and here comes someone giving you the opportunity to be able to, it's just a sense of, they're ecstatic, basically.
So what more do you want? How big do you want this back to school program to be?
Okay, and that's a very good question. So I want to extend my arms and my heart to not only to the Black community, but we would like this to be extended to all nations. We want everyone,
Every race,
every race,
every denomination,
every
doesn't matter.
denomination to come and be a part of this. We want this to be big. Years gone by, most of the time it's just the neighboring community, most of the Black community, but now we want to ensure that all races are given a backpack with school supply. And not only that, but we also give away groceries as well.
That's right.
So we give the family groceries. And I must say, we have not received any form of grant or donation.
Funding, nothing.
No form of funding. This we do as a church. All the members of ETWMC and all those who have partnered with us give into this pool. And so we're able to purchase the backpacks, school supplies
From this pool. That's
pool,
right.
and even groceries we give back to the community. So as your question is, what am I expecting? What do I want? I want every race to be part of this that we're doing.
We in our time right now when things are kind of really hard on families, and we decide to help out. When did we start it, and when is it gonna be this year?
When did we start it? And
and when it's gonna be this year?
Easier?
This year.
When will it be?
Oh, this year. I'm so sorry. So